Alright team, Carl here from Red Beard Recipes. Today we're going to be making
a succulent Chinese meal.
Going to be making some salt and pepper spare ribs and some deep fried wontons. This one's been requested by my little sister Tony. Get well soon. Let's get you started.
Ooh-wee.
So we're going to be starting off with the ribs. The night before we actually cook them, we're going to marinate them. So it's a two-part process with this. We've got a spice mix over here on the left, which is 1 tablespoon of peppercorns, mixed peppercorns, 1 tablespoon of sea salt, and half a tablespoon of Chinese 5-spice. The other part of it is the marinade, which is 2 tablespoons of soy, 2 tablespoons of brown sugar, 2 tablespoons of rice wine, and some fresh black pepper to taste. So this was some pretty cheap rice wine. Never tried it before, so as a chef, you've always got to taste what you're using. Yeah, don't do that.
Ain't nobody got time for that. Ain't nobody got time for that. Ain't nobody got time. Ain't nobody got time. Ain't nobody got time for that.
So for your marinade, easy as. Chuck all the ingredients in a bowl. I reckon a bit coating of black pepper. Mix her up a bit. Set it to one side. For the spice mix, probably best off either using a pestle and mortar or a coffee grinder. Chuck it all in. Grind her away.
12 seconds later.
That's ground up nicely. And before we do anything with this, we're going to split it in half. You're going to about half of it into your marinade. Be about enough. That was about 2.5 teaspoons. And again, keep this to one side in a little container or a little glass or something for tomorrow. Mix this up again. Now we'll trim up the ribs. As you may remember in previous rib videos, we're going to take this membrane off and trim some of this fat. We're going to trim down so these are a bit shorter. And we'll have these as little riblets as well, just so they marinate better. They're fully coated. We're going to cut them all the way instead of cooking it as a full rack, just so they absorb more flavour around them, and then for the second part of cooking later on. These bits will trim off the edge. We can still marinate that. Still tastes good. And these are going to be good to guide to make sure you get a nice little portion. This flap you can take off also. Still chuck it in with marinade. Now we're going to pop the ribs into freezer bags, and then we're going to pop the marinade in. So the freezer bags I've got are quite small, so it's going to take maybe 3, and we'll just separate the marinade across and leave them overnight. Get all the air out. Should you give them a mix. We'll pop these in the fridge overnight until tomorrow when we're ready to slow cook them and then fry them.
The next day.
Hey, it's tomorrow.
Tomorrow for sure.
So our ribs have marinated overnight. You can see they've took on a little bit of colour as well. All we're going to do is throw these straight into a baking tray. Spread them out nicely. Put some water in there around a cup and then foil them and bang them in the oven. So pop the ribs in the oven on 170 for 2.5 hours. In the meantime, we're going to make our wonton mix. For our wonton mix, we've got 300 grams of chicken mince, 200 grams of fresh prawns, tails off, 1 teaspoon of soy, 1 teaspoon of sesame oil, and white pepper. Chop these. Mix everything together. About 3 big dashes of white pepper. Leave to one side till your ribs are ready. Gonna make a quick last minute sweet and sour sauce.
But I ain't spending any time on it.
Mix it with a fork. This is going to be our thickening agent. Bring these ingredients to the boil. Whisk it to make sure it's smooth. Boil for 2 minutes. Whisk in the corn flour mix on a gentle heat. And you'll see the sauce thicken real quickly. Sticky dipping sauce that you normally get. It's sticking to the bottom of the pan. Bright red like you like it from Billy Wong's. And ready for dipping your wontons in. Just take the ribs out, give them a little toss. You can eat them straight like this, but we're gonna finish them off by frying them to make it legit takeaway style. Our wontons, we've got some little wonton wraps here. So you can get little square ones. If you can't find these anywhere, I'd suggest getting spring roll wrappers. But a little bit of filling in these and seal them up with water around the edge. Pinch them around, fold them in. Pretty.
2,000 years later.
Wonton's done. Look, I was a bit overzealous with the amount of mix versus the tiny amount of wraps that I had, but I'll save the mix and maybe make some meatballs later in the week.
You bastard, you!
Get your oil on, get hot.
Super hot, boy.
Fry until brown.
But it wasn't too brown, it wasn't hazelnut, it wasn't copper, it wasn't chocolate, it was just
Golden brown. Rest. So you've got a rack or a plate available. There were ribs. We're gonna use the rest of the spice mix. Just dust it over. Don't need to use all of it, but it does bring a fair bit of flavour. As I said earlier, these are pretty much good to eat right now. But this is just gonna make it pop. Ribs, we're gonna flash in. These are gonna have to be real quick. Woo! Plate up time. We're gonna chuck them straight on a board. I'm not friggin' messing around here. Chuck them in some plastic containers if you like. Make it authentic. Bit of chili on top, a little garnish, bit of spring onion, rice, just plain rice. If I did fried rice, would be here for a good couple of friggin' hours, to be honest, the way this video is going. Wontons. Look, if I eat all this, I'll definitely be at least 150 kilos tomorrow. That's a Chinese takeaway done from your home. Thanks for watching, everyone. Hope you enjoyed that. Let me know how you go with cooking that one. Follow me on Instagram at red_beard_recipes. And I'll see you in the next one.
Ta-ta and farewell.